The courtroom buzzed with tension, every sound amplified, every breath heavy. The judge adjusted his glasses and lifted the papers before him. "James Carter," he said sternly, "you've been found guilty of fraud and embezzlement." Before he could continue, a small voice cut through the silence. "Don't read the sentence yet." All eyes turned. At the back of the room stood a little black girl in a soft yellow dress, her hands clenched tightly. Her hair fell in neat braids down her back, but her clouded, unseeing eyes revealed her blindness. Gasps echoed through the room. The judge blinked, surprised. "Who is this child?" A bailiff stepped forward nervously. "She says she has something to say about the defendant, Your Honor. We tried to stop her, but I let her through." A woman in the gallery, the girl's social worker, spoke softly. "Please let her speak." James Carter turned slowly in his seat, freezing when he saw her. That small, trembling voice pulled him back years. The judge sighed. "Young lady, do you know where you are?" "Yes," she replied bravely. "This is a courtroom, and you're about to send this man to jail." The room fell silent. "What's your name, child?" the judge asked, his tone softening. "Lila," she answered. "I'm 6. And what do you have to say about Mr. Carter?" Lila lifted her chin. "He's not bad. He's my hero." The words struck James like a tidal wave. He remembered now. 3 years ago, rushing to a meeting, he heard a child sobbing near a busy intersection. A small girl stood frozen on the curb, clutching a broken cane, her sightless eyes wide with fear. "Cars won't stop," she whispered. "Mama's not here." James had knelt beside her. "It's okay, sweetheart," he said gently. "I'll help you cross." She had clung to his hand like a lifeline. Afterward, she thanked him in a tiny voice. "You're like a superhero," she said. "Can I call you my hero?" James had smiled. "Of course." Back in the present, Lila took a deep breath. "My mama died when I was 3. I don't have anyone now, but I remember him." The judge raised a brow. "You're saying Mr. Carter helped you?" "Yes," Lila insisted. "He saved me when no one else would." The prosecutor stood abruptly. "Your Honor, with all due respect, this child's testimony is irrelevant. This is about financial crimes, not personal character." "Let her finish," the judge ordered sharply. Lila stepped closer to James, her small hand resting on his arm. "You can't send him away," she said, her voice trembling. "He doesn't deserve it. He's a good man." The judge leaned back, conflicted. Murmurs filled the courtroom. "Is this a stunt?" someone whispered. But others watched in silence, moved by the sight of the small blind girl defending a man accused of serious crimes. "Mr. Carter," the judge said slowly. "Do you know this child?" James's throat tightened. "Yes, I do," he said hoarsely. "I met her years ago. I didn't know she remembered me." Lila clung to his sleeve, her voice barely a whisper. "I remember because you were the first person who made me feel safe. Mama said never forget the people who save you." The judge stared at her for a long moment. "This is highly unusual," he murmured. "But maybe I need to hear more before sentencing." James looked at the fragile girl beside him. She couldn't see him, but she seemed to sense his burden. For the first time since his arrest, James felt hope. The room was quiet, save for the faint scratch of the judge's pen. Lila's hand still rested on James's sleeve, her unseeing eyes blinking rapidly, as if sensing the tension. James broke the silence. "Your Honor, I've said all along I was framed, but no one listened." The judge frowned. "Mr. Carter, you had a full investigation and trial. Are you suggesting critical evidence was overlooked?" "Yes," James said firmly, his voice steady as he placed his hand gently over Lila's. "And this little girl just reminded me why I didn't give up. Because someone still believes in me." The prosecutor stood sharply. "Your Honor, this case was tried fairly. The evidence against Mr. Carter was overwhelming." "Or fabricated," James interrupted. The judge raised a hand. "Enough," he said firmly. "Miss Lila, can you tell me how you know Mr. Carter again?" Lila's voice was soft but clear. He helped me cross the road when I was little. I was scared, but he held my hand and told me I'd be okay. Do you believe he's a good man? Yes, Lila said without hesitation. Mama said good people leave light behind them. And I still feel his light. A collective gasp rippled through the courtroom. Even the jury, their duty done, looked unsettled. The judge tapped his pen, deep in thought. This case has troubled me from the start, he admitted. The timeline of Mr. Carter's alleged actions never sat right, but with a clear money trail and damning testimony, we moved forward. He sighed. It's not the court's job to investigate, but perhaps the investigators failed to dig deep enough. The defense lawyer stood. Your Honor, I request an emergency review of new evidence. Lila's testimony may seem small, but it led us to something significant. This morning, we received a tip suggesting Mr. Carter's former business partner, Thomas Reed, transferred funds into the accounts used to frame my client. The prosecutor's face reddened. That's circumstantial at best. Or proof of conspiracy, the defense lawyer countered. The judge's eyes narrowed. Why wasn't this uncovered before? The defense lawyer hesitated. With all due respect, Your Honor, the original investigators faced pressure from political figures pushing for a quick conviction. They cut corners. A murmur of shock spread through the audience. The judge stood slowly. Mr. Carter, you've suffered greatly for these accusations. I cannot reverse time, but I can order the case reopened immediately. James's breath caught. You believe me? The judge gave a small nod. This child's words reminded me that justice isn't about speed. It's about truth. The prosecutor slammed his folder shut. This is outrageous. No, the judge said sternly. What's outrageous is that a 6-year-old girl has more courage to seek justice than the system did. 2 weeks later, the truth emerged. Thomas Reed had orchestrated the scheme to frame James and seize his company. The money trail, once overlooked, was now undeniable, and James Carter walked out of jail a free man. On the courthouse steps, Lila stood nervously as James knelt before her. You saved me, he whispered, his voice thick with emotion. You saved me first, Lila replied softly, reaching out to touch his face. James smiled, tears streaming down his cheeks. From now on, Lila, I'll make sure no one ever hurts you again. That night, the story of the little blind girl who halted a courtroom and changed the course of justice spread like wildfire. People called her brave, but Lila didn't care about fame. She only knew her hero was free, and she wasn't alone anymore.